this stage in the world, and I'm talking globally, the science is far-reaching, long-standing, and well-established. Cannabis is extremely valuable for medical purposes, and I think whenever we talk about the science, the first thing I always bring up when we're doing presentations, talks, or whatever, is the endogenous cannabinoid system. So likely, if you're watching this back in Australia, your physician likely doesn't know that the human body and all complex life on Earth has what's called an endogenous cannabinoid system. And that means that it's a physiologic system of control that's present in all tissue, literally. And what this means is your body produces compounds that are very similar to THC from cannabis and CBD and so forth. These are called cannabinoids. So endocannabinoid means arising from within. Your body is manufacturing its own cannabinoids for the purposes of maintaining homeostasis throughout the body, whether we're talking intracellular, inside the cell, controlling complex processes, or the function of tissues or organs, or indeed the organism itself, and quite likely groups of organisms in a community. So there's a great basis in science that, as I said, is well established in peer-reviewed, published scientific literature that anybody can access if you have access to Google or PubMed.gov or any of these places. There's websites that repository large amounts of documentation on the medical uses of cannabis. But if you want the #1 place to go, which has an expanding list that every single year gets larger and has an alphabetized list of all the conditions cannabis can help and all the studies done on cannabis, cannabinoids, the Endo Cannabanoid System, synthetic cannabinoids from the pharmaceutical world, it's all there. And it's called Granny Stormcrow. So look up Granny Stormcrow's cannabis list or something like that. And this is amazing research. You want to find any study or any link you'd ever wanted to find, it's there. And even if you don't want to go there, go to PubMed.gov or Google. Now, going beyond the endogenous cannabinoid system is hard because it's such a complex thing and it's amazing. This system was only discovered in 1988. So I'm in grade 8 science class in a private religious school where they're denying the existence of fossils and dinosaurs, and this incredible physiologic system of homeostasis and balance, indeed the system that allows life to sustain in an ever-changing environment. This system was discovered, and I didn't hear about it, and neither did you. And to this day, most of your doctors don't even know about this system. Even though the research is global, it's going on in Canada, the US, Israel, likely China now, Spain, the UK, everywhere. Australia needs to get on board with global research. And so this is a very exciting thing. So the endogenous cannabinoid system is one of the most exciting things that was discovered, and it shows us how the compounds from the plant interplay biochemically with our minds and bodies to produce this wide range of therapeutic effect. So I mean, we could go through a list of all these types of illnesses from A to Z, and indeed cannabis has a place in all of them, and the reason is that any one of these illnesses is going to in some way be tied to this physiologic system that controls everything that goes on in your body. And here's the perfect thing about it. Your endocannabinoid system has no receptors for cannabinoids in the part of the brainstem that controls breathing and heart rate. This stuff cannot kill you. There's nothing on planet Earth that you can say that about. Cannabis is the safest substance and indeed probably the most therapeutically active substance on the planet. So when you understand how safe it is and you start understanding about these receptors for cannabinoids all through the brain and body and the central nervous system and all the myriad of amazing things that it can do, we have so much we can do with this plant to end global suffering of humans and animals and beyond. I'll mention a couple properties of cannabinoids because this must be repeated. People need to understand. Cannabinoids are antioxidants, right? They're more potent than vitamin C or E in sopping up free radicals. So free radicals are these unpaired oxygen atoms that go through your body that are released by your immune system or produced by eating food or taken in from your environment as toxins, and they're indiscriminately damaging DNA and cells. Well, guess what? Antioxidants, that's why we all take them, to stop this type of excessive free radical activity, can go in and perfectly sop them up and control that, bring it back to balance. So it's beyond being antioxidant, it's neurogenic. So it doesn't kill brain cells, that's a bunch of garbage. It's neurogenic, which means that it stimulates the growth of new brain cells and new cells in other areas of the body. So if that wasn't enough, we've got antioxidant activity, neurogenic activity. How about anti-cancer activity? So you've got the ability of these compounds to go in, attach themselves to the receptors on the outside of cancer cells, and start a process known as apoptosis, or programmed cell death, which means that cancer cell has been reawakened to the normal process that should have taken care of that cell earlier in its stage when it was going off the tracks. Apoptosis is a normal part of cell death that needs to happen, and it doesn't happen in cancer cells. So THC, for instance, will go in and will attach itself to a receptor on the outside of a cancer cell and start this process of apoptosis. And guess what? The healthy cells that surround that cancer cell are not impacted. They are not killed. There is no apoptosis. This is a selective effect of cannabinoids. They are anti-cancer. That's provable, and it goes back well beyond 30 years in peer-reviewed scientific research. Kaboom.
Thanks for watching this week's episode. If you want to support the cause, just like and share our videos, and we'll THC you later.